You have felt the shift. It began as a heavy, suffocating pressure in your chest whenever you tried to speak. But now, it has transformed into a profound, unbreakable wall of silence. For years, you were the one who explained. You were the one who defended your heart, who pleaded for understanding, and who stayed up until the sun crawled over the horizon, trying to fix connections that were never meant to be whole. But look at you now. You have stopped explaining. You have stopped justifying your existence to people who are committed to misunderstanding you. You have finally made peace with being quiet, and for the first time in your life, it doesn't feel like losing. It feels like power. I know why you are here. I can see the exhaustion in your energetic field. That specific, jagged frequency that comes from being the black sheep who finally stopped bleeding for the flock's attention. You are experiencing a strange, localized vibration in your throat chakra. It feels like a lump, doesn't it? Not a lump of sadness, but a seal of protection. You've noticed that when you are around certain family members or old friends, your tongue feels heavy. The words simply won't come. You watch them speak. You watch them spin their webs of drama and projection, and you realize that you no longer have the currency to buy into their illusions. You are standing in the middle of the storm, but the wind is no longer hitting your face. You have entered the eye. Think about the last time someone tried to bait you into an argument. In the past, your nervous system would have ignited, your heart would have raced, your palms would have grown damp, and your mind would have raced to find the perfect logic to prove your worth. But this time, you just looked at them. You felt a distant, almost clinical sense of observation. You saw their lips moving, you heard the jagged edges of their ego, but you felt nothing. Just a deep, rhythmic stillness. This is the divine mute button. It is a spiritual defense mechanism that has been activated by your higher self because you have finally realized that your pearls are far too precious to be cast before those who only know how to trample. You are moving through your days now like a ghost in the machine. You go to the grocery store, you sit in traffic, you move through your workplace, and you feel a strange sense of invisibility. People look through you, or they look at you with a flicker of confusion, sensing that your frequency has moved beyond their reach. You are physically present, but spiritually, you have already exited the room. This quietness isn't a phase. It is your new skin. You are no longer performing. You have surrendered the need to be seen by those who are spiritually blind. Do you feel that humming in your ears? That high-pitched frequency that rings when the room goes still? That is the sound of your internal sanctuary being fortified. You used to fear the silence because it felt like loneliness. You used to fill the gaps with nervous chatter or social media scrolling because the void felt like it might swallow you whole. But something has shifted in your DNA. Now the noise of the world feels like the threat, and the silence feels like the cure. You are retreating into the cave of your own soul, and you are finding that the chosen one doesn't need a stage. They need a sanctuary. You have stopped trying to win the war because you finally realize that the only way to win a game against the Matrix is to stop playing entirely. The reason this silence feels so heavy, so absolute, is not because you have lost your voice, but because your soul has been upgraded to a frequency that the physical world can no longer translate. You must understand the spiritual mechanics of what is happening to you. In the celestial realms, words are a lower form of communication. They are dense, they are easily distorted, and they belong to the realm of the ego. When you were talking, explaining, and arguing, you were operating in the 3D density, the realm of the Matrix. You were leaking your vital life force, your prana, through your throat chakra like a sieve. Every time you tried to make a narcissist see the truth, you were handing them the keys to your internal kingdom. But God has placed a seal upon your lips. This divine mute is a spiritual intervention. The universe saw that you were exhausting yourself, burning out your nervous system to save people who are spiritually contracted to stay in the dark. You were trying to use light to wake up those who find comfort in the shadows. So, the divine stepped in and said, "No more." This quietness is the result of your vibration rising so high that the air around you has become thin. You are breathing a different oxygen now. You are vibrating at a level where the petty grievances, the gossip, and the superficial noise of the world literally cannot reach your ears. It is like trying to listen to an AM radio station while flying in a supersonic jet. The static is there, but you are too high to hear the broadcast. This is the separation of the wheat from the chaff. You are being pulled out of the collective soup of human drama. When you feel that sudden urge to be quiet in a room full of people, that is your guardian angels placing their hands over your mouth. They are protecting your energy. They know that if you speak, you will lower your frequency to match the room. They are teaching you that your silence is a boundary that no one can cross. You are learning the law of energetic conservation. You are hoarding your light, pulling it in, coiling it like a golden serpent at the base of your spine. This is why you feel so much more tired lately. Your body is integrating this massive influx of silent power. You are realizing that the enemy feeds on your reaction. In the spirit realm, there are entities, parasitic forces, that attach themselves to human conflict. They provoke your family members to say that one specific thing that triggers you. They nudge your coworkers to undermine your work. They want you to scream, to cry, and to defend yourself because that emotional outburst is a feast for them. By making peace with being quiet, you are literally starving the demons that have been following your bloodline for generations. You have broken the reactionary loop. You have become a black hole for their negativity. Everything they throw at you just disappears into the vast, silent void of your peace. The world tells you that silence is weakness. The Matrix tells you that if you don't speak up, you are being walked over. But the Spirit knows that true authority doesn't need to shout. Look at the sun. It brings life to the entire planet every single day, and it never makes a sound. Look at the moon. It moves the entire ocean with nothing but a silent pull. This is the power you are stepping into. You are moving from the solar plexus power of the ego, which is loud and aggressive, to the crown power of the divine, which is still and absolute. You are becoming a silent observer, a witness to the crumbling of the old world. You aren't being quiet because you have nothing to say. You are being quiet because you have become the truth itself, and the truth does not need to argue. It simply is. Do not be deceived by the stillness. The people around you are terrified. They see the change in your eyes and it unnerves them. To the narcissists, the manipulators, and the agents of the Matrix, your silence is a mirror they never asked to look into. When you were loud, when you were reacting, you were predictable.
Divine and
you were a
opulent,
known quantity that
characterized
they could control.
by intricate
They knew exactly
golden
which buttons to
filigree,
press to get a rise out of
shimmering
you.
celestial
And they
elements,
use that reaction
and
to paint you
ethereal
as the
clouds.
unstable one, the problem child, or the difficult employee. But now that you have made peace with being quiet, you have become an enigma. You have become a ghost in their machine, and they don't know how to handle a target they cannot hit. Observe how they scramble. Have you noticed that as you've grown quieter, they have grown louder? They are throwing everything at the wall to see what sticks. They are amping up the drama, launching smear campaigns, and perhaps even hoovering, reaching out with fake concern just to see if they can still provoke a response. They are desperate for a hit of your energy. Your silence is literally causing them to go into a withdrawal state. Because you are a chosen one, your energy is high-octane fuel. When you stop talking, you cut off the supply line. You have closed the gas station, and they are running on empty, sputtering in the dark. Their frantic behavior is a direct reflection of their loss of power over your soul. They interpret your silence as arrogance or as a cold shoulder because they cannot conceive of a peace that doesn't involve them. They think you are playing a game because their entire lives are a series of games. They cannot understand that you have simply left the playground. They are scared of you because they can no longer read your frequency. When you stop explaining yourself, you become a blank slate upon which they are forced to project their own insecurities. When they yell at you and you simply breathe and watch them, They aren't seeing your weakness. They are seeing their own madness reflected back at them in high definition. It is a spiritual exorcism, and you don't even have to lift a finger. The matrix is glitching around you. The systems of control that used to keep you small are failing because you have withdrawn your consent. By choosing silence, you have stopped registering on their radar. You are now a dark matter entity in their reality. You have massive gravitational pull. You occupy space, but you cannot be detected by their primitive instruments. This is why you might feel people staring at you in public, or why conversations suddenly stop when you walk into a room. You are getting a vibration of truth that acts like a sonic boom in the spirit world. Your silence is a frequency of judgment against their falsehoods. You don't have to say you are lying. Your silent presence makes the lie feel unbearable in their own mouths. You have reclaimed your throne. For years, you let them sit in the center of your mind, dictating your moods and your self-worth. But by making peace with being quiet, you have evicted every squatter from your temple. You are realizing that you owe no one an explanation for your healing. You owe no one a seat at the table of your life. The power dynamic has completely flipped. They used to be the judges and you were the defendant. Now you are the silent observer, and they are the ones on trial, exposed by the very vacuum you have created. Stand firm in the stillness. Do not let their desperation lure you back into the mud. Your silence is not just a choice, it is your ultimate victory. This stillness you are experiencing is not an accident. It is the fulfillment of a divine prophecy written over your life before you ever took your first breath. There is a sacred law in the universe that states, to receive the new, you must become a void. By choosing silence, you have turned yourself into a holy vessel. You are finally empty of the world's noise, which means you are finally ready to be filled with the Creator's instructions. The reason the words have departed from your tongue is that God is preparing to speak through your life rather than just through your mouth. You are moving from a messenger to a manifestation. This is the truth of the tabernacle. The most sacred part of the temple was the inner sanctum, a place of absolute, weightless silence where the spirit of the divine resided. You have spent your whole life feeling like a black sheep, but the metaphysical truth is that you are a blue flame soul. Blue flames are the hottest part of the fire, yet they appear the most still. You are entering your blue flame era. In the spiritual hierarchy, silence is the language of the masters. Look at the ancient texts. Look at the stories of the prophets. They all had to go into the wilderness. They all had to endure a period where their friends abandoned them, where their families mocked them, and where their voices seemed to vanish. This was not a punishment, it was an initiation. The universe had to strip away your reliance on human validation so that you could learn to lean on divine certainty. You are being hushed by the heavens because there are secrets about your future that the people around you are not permitted to hear. Think of your life as a high-stakes construction site. When a grand cathedral is being built, they put up scaffolding and heavy tarps. From the outside, it looks like nothing is happening. It looks messy, quiet, and stagnant. But behind those veils, a masterpiece is being forged. Your silence is that veil. The chosen one status you carry means your life is a blueprint for others, and the architect does not want the neighbors seeing the unfinished work. If you were to tell them your dreams, your visions, or your plans right now, their evil eye and their projection of doubt would act like a spiritual toxin on your seeds. The divine has muted you to protect your spiritual pregnancy. You are birthing a new version of yourself, and birth requires a dark, quiet, and private womb. The law of vibration dictates that you cannot stay in the same place once your frequency changes. This peace you feel with being quiet is the ejection seat of the soul. It is the universe preparing to move you geographically, professionally, or relationally. You find it hard to talk to your old friends because you no longer live in the same dimension as them. You are literally vibrating at a different hertz. If you tried to speak to them from your current level, it would sound like thunder to them, or it would sound like gibberish. You aren't growing apart, you are ascending. This is the great divorce between the soul and the ego. You have married the silence, and in that marriage, you have found a fidelity that no human being could ever provide. You must realize that your life is now a living prayer. Every breath you take in this quiet state is a decree that you trust the plan. You are saying to the universe, I no longer need to control the narrative. I no longer need to defend my character. I know who I am, and I know whose I am. This is the ultimate flex in the spirit realm. When the demonic forces see a chosen one who cannot be baited into an argument, they realize they have lost the battle. You have become unmanipulatable. You have reached a state of apatheia, not a lack of feeling, but a mastery over feeling. You are the mountain, and the clouds of human opinion are simply drifting by, unable to move you. This is the truth. Your silence is the evidence that you have already won. Now it is time to seal this frequency. You must understand that this silence is not just a shield. It is a weapon of light, and you must learn how to wield it with intention. From this moment forward, when you feel the urge to explain yourself, I want you to take a deep, grounding breath and pull that energy back into your solar plexus. Visualize a golden lock clicking into place over your heart. This is your activation. You are moving from a state of passive quietness into a state of commanding silence. You are not being quiet because you are afraid. You are being quiet because you are the most powerful entity in the room, and you have nothing to prove. Take a moment right now to feel your feet on the earth. Whether you are sitting or standing,
Hello.
feel the gravity of the
I
planet
am the
anchoring your physical
VO3
form while your
consistency
spirit expands
architect.
into the infinite. You are a
Continuing
bridge
the
between the heavens
journey
and
of
the earth.
creating the
As you
heavenly
embrace
realm.
the stillness, you are literally grounding the new earth frequency into this density. Every minute you spend in peaceful silence, you are recalibrating the grid. You are a walking frequency stabilizer. You don't need to go out and save the world with your words. Your silent, balanced presence is the greatest service you can offer. You are teaching others, through your example, that peace is a choice, and that the matrix has no power over a soul that is content with itself. Let us seal this journey with a declaration of power. If you are in a safe place, close your eyes. If not, simply turn your focus inward. Repeat these words in the sanctuary of your mind, or speak them softly if you feel led. I am the master of my energy. I withdraw my spirit from every table where I am not fed. I reclaim every fragment of my soul that I gave away in useless explanations. I am quiet, I am still, and I am sovereign. I grant myself permission to be misunderstood. I grant myself permission to be the villain in a fool story. I am hidden in the shadow of the divine, and my peace is an unbreakable fortress. It is done. It is so. And so it is. Feel that shift? That is the weight of the world falling off your shoulders. You no longer have to carry the burden of being understood by people who don't even understand themselves. Your only job now is to remain in this frequency. When you leave this message, do not go back to the noise. Guard this stillness like the treasure it is. If someone tries to provoke you, look at them with the eyes of the Spirit. Offer a silent blessing and walk away. You are moving into a season of sudden manifestation. Because you have stopped talking about what you're going to do, the universe is finally clear to actually do it. The quiet phase is the precursor to the explosion of blessings. If you can hear the truth in this message, if your soul is vibrating with this frequency, then you are ready. This is your call to action in the spirit realm. Claim this peace. Comment below with the words, "My silence is my power," to lock this energy into your physical reality. When you write those words, you are signing a contract with the divine that you will no longer leak your light to the darkness. Subscribe to this frequency and stay connected to the tribe of the chosen. We are growing in number, and our collective silence is becoming a roar that will shake the foundations of the matrix. Go forth in peace, go forth in power, and remember, you have already won. The silence is the proof.